Hi everyone! Welcome to Souped Up Recipes. Siu Mai is like a traditional steamed dumpling, and it has many variations. I have made a shrimp siu mai before, that is the Cantonese style. The glutinous rice siu mai that we are making today is from Jiang Su province. The taste is unique and delicious. Let's get started. You will need some glutinous rice. The grain is shorter, fattier, and less transparent compared to the jasmine rice. If you ask me, can you use jasmine rice? The answer is yes, but the texture will be different. We will rinse the rice, rub the grains to remove the excess starch, discard the liquid. Do this several times until the water becomes clear. Soak the rice for 2 hours. Besides the rice, you also need to soak some other ingredients. 3 tablespoons of dried shrimp. These are just simply sun-dried shrimps. You just soak them until they are rehydrated. 4 pieces of dried shiitake mushrooms. They will need about 2 hours to be nice and soft again. Then squeeze out the water, save the liquid, we will use that later. Dice them. If you ask me, can I use fresh mushrooms? Technically, yes, but it will not taste and smell the same. I will tell you why in a second. Take the shrimp out. Combine both liquid together. We will use that later. Finally, mince the shrimp. Both of these ingredients are sun-dried, not only for preservation purpose, but also during the drying process. Complex proteins are broken down into simpler amino acids, such as glutamate, which provides stronger umami taste. That is why dried shiitake mushrooms and shrimps are richer in flavor compared to when they are fresh. Another classic ingredient in this dish will be cured meat or sausage. I am using Cantonese sausage. If you have a nice piece of cured ham, that will be even better. Dice the sausage as well. By now, the rice should be ready. Drain it completely. It is better to use a non-stick pot to cook the rice. Add a big drizzle of sesame oil. Mix it well. This will keep the grains separate from each other and give the rice a nice nutty taste. This is the soaking liquid from before. You will need 1 cup minus 2 tablespoons of the liquid. You don't want to cook it with too much water or else the rice will turn out mushy. Put on the lid, turn the heat to high, and bring this pot to a boil. Do not go away because it only takes a couple of minutes. It is better to use a glass lid that can see through. Once it is boiling, turn the heat to the lowest possible. Let it simmer for 10 minutes. Turn off the heat and you should have some perfectly cooked glutinous rice. Each grain kept its individual shape. It's not mushy at all. Let's set it aside and start combining all the filling ingredients together. Add a couple tablespoons of oil to your wok. Give a toss so the oil covers the bottom. Add the diced mushroom, Cantonese sausage, and the minced shrimp. Stir on low heat for a few minutes or until you can smell the fragrance. Then push everything to the side so you have room for the ground pork. Stir and break down the meat as much as you can. You don't want to have any meat patties. Once the meat is almost cooked, mix everything together. Keep cooking until you don't see any pink color. Add in the cooked glutinous rice. Try to break it up with your spatula. Don't forget to add the seasonings at this time. About 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, a drizzle of dark soy sauce for the color. Last but not least, some black pepper to taste. Keep mixing on medium heat. I actually cooked the glutinous rice 1 day ahead. It has been sitting in the fridge overnight. That is why it's so chunky right now. You can add a splash of water. The steam will soften the rice and loosen up the chunks. But if your glutinous rice is freshly cooked today, you don't need to add the water. Once everything is well mixed, you can give a taste to see if you need to adjust the flavor. Toss in some diced carrot and scallions. Mix everything again and your glutinous fried rice is done. Just joking. But honestly, you can serve it like this. It's super delicious. Most of the time when I make this dish, I don't really have the patience to do the following steps. I just eat it right away. Consider this is a serious educational cooking show. Let's set the filling aside and continue the rest of the work. For the wrapper, you will need 250 grams of all-purpose flour. This is 150 grams of hot water that I just boiled. Add half teaspoon of salt. Stir to dissolve. Pour it into the flour in batches. Hot water will denature the proteins in the flour, so your dough will come out extra soft, smooth, and pliable. The temperature is quite hot right now. We're gonna cover it and let it sit with its own steam for 10 minutes. I am using a KitchenAid to do the kneading. Let it run on medium speed for 12 minutes. You can also knead it by hand. Take it out. Continue working on it until it forms into a round, smooth dough. It will just take a couple of minutes. Cover it with a plastic wrap. Let it rest for 40 minutes. 40 minutes later, unwrap it. Roll it into a long, even log. The amount that I gave is enough to make 25 to 30 Shao Mai. So pick a number and divide it into these small pieces. You don't need to scale them because the filling is cooked. There are no worries about uneven cooking. Sprinkle a generous amount of cornstarch. You can also use potato starch, but do not use flour. Starch doesn't contain gluten. Flour does. If you sprinkle new flour to these little dough pieces, it will make the surface unsmooth again. Flatten all the pieces into these round patties. Cover them with plastic wrap so they don't get dry. Use a rolling pin to roll each dough into 3 inches diameter pieces. This is just a startup. Later on, we will roll it bigger and thinner. Put some cornstarch in between each piece and pile 4 pieces together. Use a rolling pin to roll 4 of them at one time. You will find that the top and the bottom piece will be smaller than the ones in the middle. You just switch positions. Put the smaller ones in the middle this time. Keep rolling for less than a minute. Check this. You have 4 wrappers that are almost the same size, nice and thin. How easy is that? The diameter is about 4.5 inches. Put them away. Continue doing the rest. Now, let me show you how to wrap the Shao Mai. Take 1 piece of the wrapper, put some filling in the middle, about 3 tablespoons. Bend your fingers to hold the Shao Mai. Start making pleats all the way around. Make sure to pinch the pleats tight or else the filling will fall off during steaming. Press it down from the top and squeeze it to give it a slender waist. There you go. Look how pretty it is. Brush some oil on the steamer rack so the Shao Mai doesn't stick to it. Place them in one by one. Be sure to leave some space in between each other. Put on the lid. Turn the heat to high. Once the water starts boiling, continue to steam for 10 minutes. And you are done. Look at that. This Shao Mai has a unique complex fragrance. Just by smelling it, you can tell what's in it. I love the combination of glutinous rice, sesame oil, shiitake mushroom, dried shrimp, and sausage. I know it's complicated to make, but every piece of the Shao Mai is like a little pocket of deliciousness. The rice is so gooey after the steaming. The wrapper is nice and soft. It's just so good. I hope you give this a try soon. If you did, leave me a comment. Let me know how it goes. As always, you can click the link in the description and find the printable recipe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!